friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the travel makeup that I brought with me on the school trip that I am chaperoning to Austria and Germany. I do have two different bags. This bag is my Clinique free bag my mom gave me years ago that I stick brushes in. And then I made a recent purchase just for the trip for the Lay & Go Cosmo bag. So if you're curious to know what's inside here, let's go ahead and dive in. So first off, I used to use this Physicians Formula bag, and I think this is awesome. It holds a lot of makeup in here. You can tell it's very loved, but it really isn't practical in the sense that by the time I pack everything up and then am going to do my makeup, I have to take basically everything out. And so I'm constantly taking things in and out of this. And I just thought to myself, this is kind of a pain, which this is gonna sound so infomercially, but I was just sick of it. And so I remember seeing years ago a sack bag on an infomercial, and I thought that's kind of weird but kind of ridiculous. And now that I notice myself constantly putting things in and out, I thought wouldn't this be an interesting thing? The string on here is a little long, but I guess it's because the bag is so big. I'll do a cutaway for you guys to see this thing in action, but for the sake of this setup that I have, I'm just gonna pull things out of the bag and talk to you about them. So this is not gonna be in a particular order. I'm just gonna pull things out and talk to you about the choice. So the first thing that I have is my MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus in Coconut. This I'm bringing just because it is a small size. I tried to pull as many small size items as I could to make this as compact as possible. If you haven't noticed yet, based on the first video I did all about my travel toiletry, I don't want to have to worry about being over 50 pounds. And even though I know I can weigh my suitcase, I'm always nervous that somewhere between leaving my house and getting to the airport, that my bag gains weight along the way. So I just wanted to cut down on as many things as possible. So went with this setting spray. It's a good go-to. I've had a number of these, and once I'm done with the trip, I'll go back to using the one that I have in my Project 10 pan. I also have my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. I brought this simply so that I would have something with a cap on it. The RK one, I took the stopper out. It has a tendency to ooze a little bit if it's tilted, and I don't want to have to worry about that. So this is where I'm bringing this in. I've never used this before, so it could go horribly wrong, who knows. I'm also bringing my little e.l.f. plastic foundation thing that I use to just squeeze foundation on and then pick up with a sponge. It just to me is really helpful and makes less mess. I'm bringing two mascaras. Gotta have the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Primer. And then I've currently been loving my Maybelline Lash Sensational in Very Black. It also helps that this is travel size. I have two concealers. I'm bringing my Photo Focus concealer from Wet n Wild in Light Ivory. This I use to cover up any acne. And then for my under eyes, I have my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in Fair for dark circles. Again, this is what I'm using right now, and these are both pretty compact. For liners, I've got the NYX Professional Makeup That's the Point Hella Fine eyeliner. This is my favorite current go-to felt tip. It is awesome and very durable with water, which is helpful because while I'm not going in the water, we're going to be outside a lot, and if it's windy and my eyes water, this will stay put. And then I'm bringing the NYX Wonder Pencil because, this thing's got to go overseas with me too. For foundation, I was kind of back and forth on which one to pick, but in the end, I felt like this one was the most compact and skin tone friendly for how pale I am right now. So I'm going with the Benefit Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation in number 1. I have enough product in here too to last me the entire trip without any worries. For face primer, I'm bringing my Physicians Formula Spotlight Illuminating Primer. It's not my favorite, but it is in a nice compact bottle, so that's why it's coming along. There's the number 7 Instant Illusion Wrinkle Filler. Can't go a day without this. For perfume, I have my little travel, I think it's a Travelo maybe, but I have my Versace Bright Crystal. Love that perfume. I can't wait to wear it. I have not worn it in a while, so I'm happy to pull it out for this trip. For lip gloss, I'm bringing my Buxom Full On Lip Cream in Dolly. It's a really nice, like, universal shade, and I love the way it feels on my lips. It's also a nice travel size, and I'm about halfway done with it, so maybe I can make even more of a dent on it during the trip. For bronzer, I'm going with my go-to bronzer, which right now is the Balm's Balm Desert. This is what it looks like. I've got a pretty like healthy dip happening in there, but I just like that it's a really like easy, don't have to fuss with it type of bronzer. For blush, I decided to go with a like very neutral universal blush that could go with any look with the eyeshadow palette that I brought, and so I'm going with my Tarte Partey. This is again a travel size, but I really love this color. It's what I actually have on my cheeks right now. It's really, really beautiful. For highlighter, I decided to go with my Becca Opal. It's just like a good, easy go-to, and I also like have panned quite a bit of it because I do love it so much. For setting powder, I brought the only travel size that I have that I'm also currently loving right now, which is my Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I use this to bake and then set around my mouth area where I tend to have a little bit more concealer happening. For eyeshadow base, I'm bringing my Benefit What's Up. Again, it's what I'm currently using, so I figured I may as well bring it along. For lip balm, I'm bringing my one from Bite, the Agave. I think it's like a lip mask. This I'm not super in love with. I've only ever had samples of it, but I feel like in the stick form, it's not very emollient, and I feel like it's going to like break off, even though I don't push it all the way up when I put it on. You can see here that it's really leaning into the sides of the container when I apply it. So we'll see how this goes, but it's just so small that like, why wouldn't I want to bring it? And then for another like tool that I'm bringing, these are the Equate olive oil like makeup removing Q-tips. They're kind of like, I feel like Almay has the ones that you like break, but personally I hate those. They never work that well for me. And I've had a very like love and hate relationship with these. I'm going to do a whole review on them when I'm back from my trip, but wanted to bring these along because again, they're super easy to have and they help me remove like touch-up makeup areas without having to bring anything bulkier or multiple steps. And then lastly, we have the eyeshadow palette that I am bringing. Now, I'd be curious to know if you have not yet watched through, pause it and write below what one you think I'm bringing. In my 13-month palette update, I did tell you guys I wasn't bringing my Lorac Mega Pro, and one of you very kindly was like, it's okay, it would stay safe. It's not about me worrying that that palette wouldn't stay safe, it's just how big it is. And I would rather be able to have everything all in one spot and keep my suitcase very organized and make myself as efficient as possible. So I wanted to pick something compact. This is actually a lot harder to do because as I was pulling out eyeshadow palettes, I was either looking at them and being like, no, you don't spark joy in me, or no, like, I don't think I can rely on you. And so I'm now going in blind. I've only used this palette a few times. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring it with me anyways. It's my Studio Makeup On The Go eyeshadow palette in Cool Down. This is what it looks like. Why I ended up going with this is that it has like basically what equates to a cream. It has like a go-to like crease shade in here. It has two lid shades that I could use, but I could also like bring in either one of these crease shades if I wanted to. Like, I just feel like it is both neutral and easy to work with and like doesn't require me to do any kind of thinking, and you know, I feel like that's going to be helpful, but I've never like used this exclusively for a week. So I'm definitely going to be able to tell you guys my full thoughts on this, and I will definitely know by the end of my trip whether or not I'm going to keep this in my collection or if it is going to be decluttered. But I'm looking forward to trying it out and seeing, but it was the only palette that I thought was both compact and just like straightforward and easy to use, at least on look level. So I'm curious, was it the palette you thought I was going to bring? I'm really curious to know your thoughts on that. But let's go ahead and just briefly look at what the brushes are that I'm bringing. I'm really basic with my brushes. I'm only bringing brushes that I would definitely be using on any given day. So the first thing I have is my Estetica P12. I've been using this lately for blush and loving it. But the ferrule, I think this is what this is called, is like wiggly, and I can't seem to pop it off to re-glue it. So hopefully it survives the trip. I have my Wet n Wild. I use this to like use some setting powder, but also to wipe away or like swipe away the baking that I'm doing. I've got my Real Techniques angled highlighter brush for highlighting. I have my e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush that I use to blend in my under eye concealer. There is the Morphe E3, which I've been using for a while as my bronzing brush. And then for eye brushes, I have my e.l.f. Defining Eye Brush that I use to put color all over my lid. I have my MUA Professional Crease Brush in 315, which I use as like a definer crease brush. I have my Morphe B79, which I use to put the cream all over my lid and brow bone area. I have my Morphe M506, which looks a lot like the MUA one, but this is what I use to put like color all over my crease area. And then to blend everything, I use the Sephora Pro Featherweight Crease Brush, which is brush number 38. I love this brush. I love the shape of it. I love the feel of it. I love how soft it is, but also how well it blends everything together. So big fan of these brushes. So these are the brushes that I use on my regular, every time I'm doing a makeup kind of basis. So those are the ones that I am bringing with me. All right, guys, that is it for me. I look forward to reporting back to you guys and letting you know what products were a total hit over the trip and what ones were atrocious, but hopefully we have more in the first category and less in the second category. But that is it for me. I will talk to you in my next video real soon. Bye.